So welcome to Pure 1, Chapter 5, where we are looking into straight line graphs, equation of straight lines, and perpendicular lines, parallel lines, a bit more into geometry, where we continue from Chapter 4 about graphs. So, but this time about straight lines. Quite nice. So in 5.1, 5.2, which is this lesson, we'll be looking into quite a lot of some basic knowledge about equations, quite a lot of content, but at the same time, is a lot of more like a basic algebra, but we'll teach you how to maneuver it, manipulate it. Yeah, right, let's dive in. Equation of straight line could be represented in two forms. The first form is in where y equals mx plus c, where m is a gradient and c could be the y-intercept. And the other form is obviously we have m being the gradient, m equals a gradient, and c being the y-intercept. And the other form that we are going to learn is the ax plus by plus c equals 0 form, where a, b, and c are integers. So then that way, you know, why so extra? It's just looking a bit neater, because sometimes we know the gradient is not always a whole number, okay? So rather than writing fractions of these numbers, sometimes it's just useful to actually put them into whole numbers. There is actually further implication in this one, because by solving simultaneous equations using a calculator or high level of maths in uni, actually having the integer in here is much more useful than this format. But anyway, sometimes you'll be asked to write your answer in this format, but where we're just changing all the fractions into integers, and also one side equals 0, okay? Right, example, right, y equals 4/5 of x plus 6 into the ax plus by plus c equals 0 form. So we see denominator is 5. So what we're going to do first thing is, of course, copy the question. That's my little habit. Next thing, we're going to multiply each term by, no, thing is, so, and then, so we multiply by multiply by 5 on all terms. Multiply each term by 5. Then that way we have y times 5, 5y, 4/5 over x times 5, 4x, 6 times 5, 30. Make one side equal 0. Now you can either bring everything left-hand side or bring everything to right-hand side. If we bring everything left-hand side, you've got plus 4x becomes negative 4x plus 5y minus 30 equals 0. Or you can bring it to right-hand side, 0 equals 4x minus 5y plus 30. So what's the difference? Which one is correct? Both of them are correct. So when you check your answer, if you see the signs are different, don't fret. First of all, check if the signs are all opposite. If they're all opposite, that means you are correct. Because if you look at the signs in here, minus, plus, minus, a plus, minus, plus. So you can see they're all opposite, right? Next one. So example in here, find a gradient of the line with 2x minus 3y plus 7 equals 0. To find a gradient, we want to change it into the form of y equals mx plus c. So make y the subject. So I can bring the 3y to the right-hand side. So 2x plus 7 equals 3y, because I like the y to be positive. So when we find the y-intercept, it's nothing with doing negative. We just deal with the positive number, divide by 3. So 2 over 3x plus 7 over 3 equals y. So therefore, the gradient is 2/3. We know it's the coefficient in front of x. Simple as, right? Next. Now, I'm not giving you any practice in here, because you should notice in GCSE, you could have done you can do a lot of practice in your exercise book, you know, in the textbook, you know, there's a lot of exercise in there. Next one, a line. When the line meets the x-axis. Now, think about this. On the coordinate axis, when the line meets the x-axis, think about what happened to all the coordinates on the x-axis. On the x-axis, the y is always 0. Hence, the x-axis is also known as y equals 0. So when the line meets the x-axis, that means substitute y equals 0. When the line meets the y-axis, you want to substitute x equals 0. Now, these two keywords, meets x-axis, meets y-axis, you will see them quite a lot actually. So when you see it meets the x-axis, y equals 0. Meets the y-axis, substitute x equals 0. All right, example below. The line y equals 4x minus 8 meets x-axis, so y equals 0, and meets the y-axis at point Q. Find the coordinates of P and Q. Well, to find P, we let y equals 0. When we let y equals 0, 0 equals 4x minus 8. Bring 8 over, divide by 4, x equals 2. So P is 2, 0. And for Q, when x equals 0, there's no really a standard way you should, do we write let or when? Both are the same. So when x equals 0, then y equals 4 times 0 minus 8. So y equals negative 8. So Q is 0, negative 8. All right? Okay. Next. So practice question 1 and 2. All right. So pause video, have a go at both questions. The question 1 is asking find the gradient and the coordinates where it crosses the x and y axis. And practice question 2 is just asking to change the format of ax plus by plus c. Pause the video, have a go at the question. When you're ready for the answer for both questions, you can press play. Here are the answers. Okay, question 1, to find a gradient, where you make y the subject, and here you divide by, so it should be a 9 plus 2x, divide by 3, so you get 2 over 3 as a gradient. To find the coordinates where it crosses the x and y axis, substitute y equals 0, you find the x value, substitute x equals 0, and the y value. Okay, and then for question 2, to make it ax plus by plus c form, for question A, you multiply everything by 5 because the denominator is 5, rearrange it. Again, your answer could be, now instead of having minus 3x plus 5y minus 20 equals 0, you could have a positive 3x minus 5y plus 20 equals 0. Okay, B, you times by 2. For C, you times by 35 because the lowest common multiple of 5 and 7 is 35. Okay, right, let's carry on. Now, just like, and as you grow up, you would see that a traffic light, a yellow means yes, you can rush. Okay, as a kid, when you see yellow light, you will stop. Yeah, that's how we were taught. But now, growing out as an adult, we see yellow light, we know, okay, it means hurry up. It's not that dead line. Yeah, so when we're driving a car, we see yellow light, yeah, let's speed up and run through it. Same with equation of straight lines. As you grow up now, passing through GCSE, you can still use your babyish y equals mx plus c, which is quite useful. Okay, so one way is to find the y equals mx plus c, quite useful. But the other way we tend to like to use more is a new formula, which is y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Now I'll be referring to this one quite a lot. I'll be using y minus y1 equals mx minus x1 a lot. Okay, the reason being is it's just straightforward. Using one formula, you can sub it in and you get the equation straight away. So you don't have multiple small steps. Whereas in y equals mx plus c, you sub it in, you find a c value, then you put it back in, etc. So you have a little small steps. They're both equally fine, but we are going to tend to use y minus y1 equals mx minus x1 a lot. So how do we use that? Well, two things you need. You need two things. You need two things. You need a point, a coordinates, okay, a pair of coordinates, and we call it x1 and y1. So that pair of coordinates, I'll show you how we use it, of course, will go into here. Okay, and obviously we need our center for the equation, which is we need our gradient, m. So to use this formula, to use this recipe, y minus y1, to use this adult equation of straight line, okay, not a babyish y equals mx plus c, then we need two things, a point and a gradient. Okay, so we'll see how we can use this. Find the equation of the line passes through 5, 7, 3 minus 1. So find the equation of straight line means we're going to use y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. We need two things, the gradient. So let's work out gradient. The gradient equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So which equals to minus 8 over 1, which is just negative 8. Am I doing it right? 3 minus 5. So 3 minus 5, where did 2 come from? Just checking, see if you're listening, Just checking. So if we're sleeping, 4. Minus 1 minus 7, 3 minus 5. Yep, 4. And the point. So now we need a point, but we've got 2. Which one can we use? We can use either of them. So you can use either 5, 7 or 3 minus 1. Depends which one you prefer. Some people prefer the first one because there's no negative. Some people prefer the second one because there's no big numbers. So I will use the first one. So that's my point. Okay, so I'm going to use y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So here the equation goes. So here's the equation. Okay, EQN means it's a short form for equation. So y minus y1, which is 7. So that y1 goes in here. That's x1 going there. Equals to m, which is 4 times x minus x1. Then all you need to do is to expand the bracket and rearrange it. So y minus 7 equals 4x minus 20 plus 7 means 4x minus 13. That's the final answer. Okay, I can show you the other one as well if you're interested, using the other 3-1 that will work as well. So y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. That will work. So that's your y1. That's your x1. So y minus minus 1 equals 4x minus 3. So minus minus makes a plus, expand the bracket, and then minus it, you get 4x minus 13. So you can see both answers work, right? But with if you're using this coordinate, just be careful, minus minus makes a plus. Okay, your turn. Okay, pause the video, have a go at the question. When you're ready for the answer, you can press play. Here's the final answer. Okay, so make sure you do your grading correctly. y2 minus y1 equals x2 minus x1. Minus minus makes a plus 1. Put in a calculator, you get -6. Then I sub in the point minus 1, 6. The reason I use this is because use this point rather than the other is because the other has a fraction, which is not a big deal. You know, you can still use a fraction, but I tend to like to use without a fraction. Again, just be careful when you do minus 1 minus minus 1 makes a plus. Plus 1 times minus 6 gives you -6. So y equals -6x. All right, next one. All right. Example, the line y equals 3x minus 9 passes through A at the x-axis. We know that passes through A at the x-axis means y equals 0. So you have to be able to pick up these little cues from the question. Find the equation of the line with gradient 2/3 and passes through A. To find the equation of the line, we know we have to use the adult, the formula y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, right? We need 2 things, the gradient and the point. So these are some jottings for you. Do you have a gradient? Yes, we do from the question, 2/3. But the point, we don't. The point is point A. So the first task is to work out the coordinates of A. We know what's so special about A. A is that when y equals 0. So when y equals 0, then 0 equals 3x minus 9. So 9 equals 3x, x equals 3. So A equal 3, 0. Therefore, we now have got a point. We have the gradient. Time to use our favorite formula for now. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So y minus 0 equals m 2/3 of x minus 3. Expand the bracket, 2/3 of x times it, which is -2. 2/3 times 3, yep, -2. We can leave it like this. Okay? The question didn't ask for any other form, so it's just y equals 2/3 of x minus 2. Simple as, right? One more, the 2 lines, y equals 4x minus 7 and 2x plus 3y minus 21 intersect at point A, intersect. So hopefully you do pick it up from the previous chapter, chapter 4, about intersection. When you do intersection, it means simultaneous equation. You want to solve them together. Okay, so point A. And another point B has coordinates -2, 8. Find the equation of a line that passes through A and B. So let's work out the point A. So point A means we have to do simultaneous equation of y equals 4x minus 7 and 2x plus 3y minus 21 equals 0. Right? Now, there are 2 ways you can do it. One is to do it manually, okay? And the second way is to do it with a calculator. So I'll show you how to do it with a calculator. Okay, never mind. Actually, I forgot I don't have the calculator emulator on this computer. I'm so sorry. So essentially, if you have a calculator, you can go on the menu and then go on the equation and function tab. And then there should one be saying simultaneous equation. They'll ask you for variables. I think it's 2 variables. And then you should be putting in the coefficients. Okay. But if you don't have a calculator, by the way, then you can do it manually. Now, by the way, if you do it manually, you don't get any marks for showing all the steps in between, because they will expect you to use a calculator to do it. Okay, so what we can do in here is we can substitute this y into equation number 2. So from 1 and 2, so we can substitute equation 1 into equation 2. Well, how? Well, we see this y, right? 4x minus 7. We can substitute into here. So 2x plus 3y, which is now 4x minus 7 minus 21 equals 0. That's your y value. Oops. And then we extend the bracket and solve for x. So 2x plus 12x minus 21 equals 0. So 14x equals 42. X equals 3. So when x equals 3, sub into the equation 1. So y equals to 4 times 3 minus 7, which is 5. So therefore, we now know a equals to 3, 5. How does that help us? To find the equation of the line, remember, we need 2 things. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. We need a gradient and we need a point. Do we have point? Yes. Actually, we've got 2 points. We've got point A and point B. The next thing we need to find is the gradient. So the gradient, B is minus 2/8. Find the gradient. So the gradient of AB, now MAB means it's a short form for the gradient of the line AB. Okay, so gradient means MAB means gradient. We usually write AB as a smaller font size, smaller size than M. Okay, so MAB equals B was minus 2/8, wasn't it? So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So put in a calculator, 8 minus 5 over minus 2 minus 3, that's negative 3/5. So then I can now use the equation. So the equation is y minus y1. I'm going to pick A, for example. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So y minus 5 equals, extend the bracket, minus 3/5 of x plus 9 over 5. Then I add 5 to the right hand side. So y equals minus 3/5 of x. So 9 over 5 plus 5 is 34 over 5. And that's the correct answer. Now, or you can obviously multiply everything by 5, which gives you 5y plus 3x minus 34 equals 0. The question didn't ask you to write in integers, so both answers right. Okay, you can just leave it like this as a fraction. All right, practice question 4. Okay, pause video, have a go. Now be careful this time. The question wants you to find an answer in the form of ax plus by plus c equals 0. So one side has to be 0 and all coefficients has to be integers. Pause the video, have a go at the question. When you're ready for the answer, you can press play. So here's the final answer. Okay, meets x at 0, meets the x-axis, mean y is 0. So first thing I do is substitute y equals 0 into the equation, and I found, x is 6. Then I can use the formula y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Solve it. The question wanted to give in full integers, so I multiply everything by 2 and move everything one side equals 0. Right? Next one. Okay, again, pause the video this time, have a look at the question, read the question, have a go. When you're ready for the answer, if you struggle with it, have a look at the example. This should be quite similar to the example we just did. Okay, have a go. Okay, pause the video when you're ready. Play the video when you're ready. So here's the final answer. Meets the x-axis, means y is 0, sub in y equals 0, get x equals 3. Here, when meets the y-axis, means x is 0, sub x equals 0, you get y equals minus 4. So you've got 2 points. To find the equation of the line, you find the gradient, and then use y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. You could use the coordinates of q or p, doesn't matter. If you use q, it should be y plus 4 equals 4/3 of x minus 0. Okay, And the final answer is y equals 4/3 of x minus 4. You don't have to put it in integers because the question didn't ask you to do that. And that's, yeah, and I believe that's, yep, and that's the last example. Yes, finally. Pause video, have a go. When you're ready for the answer, you can press play. So here's simultaneous equation. Give you the hint. If you don't know, now you know. So here's the final answer. As I said, simultaneous equation. So work it out. Here, I just do a simple, subtraction and elimination. X minus 2x is negative x, minus 6 minus 13 is 7. If you've got a calculator, you can use it to check it. Then that way you don't, you can save time to do this working out and make sure your answer is accurate as well. Because we know mental maths is not always reliable. Especially the silly people like me who always rush it and then always make mistakes and silly mistakes. So if you find any silly mistakes in my video, spare me. Right, MAB, 2 minus 1, and then minus 4 minus 7, and you get negative 1 over 11. Here I use the point B, you can use point A, but you should get the same answer. Right, and that's the end of 5.1, 5.2. There are lots of homework waiting for you.